Section we'll be doing martial applications in the same way we did part 1 of the Advanced Long Fist series. So we're going to have me perform the sequence for this small section slowly and then explaining every move so you can get all the details. Okay? And then we're going to have the applications demonstrated. So remember, in the martial applications, there can be variations depending on how you perceive the technique, essentially. Okay? And one practitioner from another, depending on how you see how to apply the technique. And it may depend on the situation, like if your opponent was moving in or out, okay, if your opponent was big or small, tall or short, this type of thing, it may change the way you want to apply the technique, and it may change the effectiveness of it. So again, keep that in the back of your mind as you're exploring the techniques, and keep in mind that we're only showing you a few variations. There are always many possible ways to make a variation, okay, and still make it a highly effective technique. So again, search for that essence in the applications. Okay, so to begin martial applications, we begin with the opening movement. It's the same as Samupao. So you begin with fist down by your side, turn sideways. Okay, you're going to step with your right leg. This opens down. Okay, step and feet together. Okay, so this is nice and strong opening. The same way you close. Okay, so one more time. This is fist down. This step right and left. So you notice on this second step, I tuck this leg behind the right one. Okay, so one more time. This one, this tuck here, and then 2. Okay? And there should be a continuous movement. So don't pause here and then come in. Just one motion, just step, step. Okay, as the feet come together, the arms also finish. Okay, and from here we're gonna lock the shoulder. Okay, usually when someone grabs, as you're gonna see later, you can lock that hand from the wrist. Okay, this we're gonna come around, twist down as you go into a crab walk. Okay, we're gonna take one more step. This one's going to pass by the bicep, a light touch. If this comes up to strike and forward. Okay, so this hand, the fingers are resting lightly on the thigh. This is partly a stylistic thing that I've seen only in Tachin in my experience in training. Okay, so this type of form with this palm here and this forward. So the first application, so if Walter was grabbing me on the shoulder, okay, this hand is immediately to lock. Okay, so you could lock either this way, grabbing on the wrist. I find that more secure, or you could also lock this way. So in the sequence, we come straight down this way. Okay, if you can manage to get your thumb also to hook, that's a better lock, as opposed to just having your hand flat on top. So this is always a better lock in terms of chin-na. Okay, if you can control the wrist, you can control the elbow and the shoulder. Okay, so from here, this circling around, okay, this you can use to lock on the back tenon here, on the elbow. Okay, this leg, you can go towards his front leg, okay? So when he sees that, of course, he's not going to stay where he is, right? He's going to want to coil out of this chin-na, out of this grab. So as I go for his arm in this lock, okay, he doesn't want me to trap him. So he's going to step back. To avoid that, he's going to break out of this grab and avoid it. So what I can do, I can hook on the inside, or I can seal the elbow, or even grab if that's an available option. And this is where this hand can come up this way. Okay, so you got to be aware of this side as well, and this leg. Okay, but even though he's on a retreat, he can still attack on a retreat. So actually a safer option would probably be, as you come around, to come more to this side. Okay, and this hand, this is symbolizing an attack. Okay, if you were close enough for the groin, you can go towards the groin upwards. Okay, or as you're on this side, this is the safer option. You can change this to a punch or a palm strike. You can go up to face. Okay, so look for this empty door angle. So remember, if I approach from this angle, okay, or from this angle on this side, this is always a better advantage for the offense side. Okay, so this forward. So now the next step from here, okay, this you can use to grab, okay, this toe kick, okay, and then back down. Okay, this is a strike. I've seen this before with the fist as well, but the way I learned it is back into the same posture with the palm. Okay, so again, sometimes that's a matter of preference and style, okay, but the way I learned this is back to the original posture with the palm here and the palm here. So from here, we go toe kick, we come back down, okay, this circle block, this ceiling, and this up, okay? So remember, every time the hand passes by your belt, you can grab anything, such as a dart, a knife, anything to help you on this attack, okay? So this 1, 2, and then 3, okay? So it's a continuous clockwise circle, right hand, left hand, and then around. So from the first move is, if he manages to block this attack coming in, okay, usually you can use this to pull. Okay, remember, pull is not necessary. Sometimes a pull works against you. If I grab and he actually leads the motion, if he pulls me while I'm grabbing him, right, then he has the advantage instead. So if you want to grab, make sure you're leading the motion. So if I grab, make sure you're the one pulling and he's the one following. Okay, otherwise don't grab at all. Okay, but the main thing is you clear this hand out of the way. As this one, you can fake or strike. Okay, usually a fake because the arm's shorter than the leg. This one go right to the groin. Okay, and then this you can come back down for this kick, and then down. Okay. This one, remember, you can also use a sweep. We touched upon this in Sanlupao, I believe, as well. So if he comes in, he punches from this I can kick. Okay, this I can also hook around this side. If you're practicing with your partner and you want to be nicer, go down to here. Okay, but if you're being a bit more malicious, you can go towards the neck this way. So as this leg comes back down, this hand is coming forward. Okay, so this is the motion you want coming down. So this one. Say he gets out of the way of this kick and he counterattacks. Okay, so following up with this, if he comes in for another attack, this is where this block will come in. This block, and again, looking for the seal in the elbow. But it shouldn't matter which hand he comes in with, which leg. Okay, this I can still seal. This still has other options, whether attack this way with palm, with fist. Okay, but in this motion, we're clearing this away. Okay, this false stance signifies kicking. Okay, this hand you can use for striking. So in the form, it's an open palm. But again, you can change that, whether to knuckle, to fist, okay, to palm, whatever you feel is appropriate for this type of attack. Okay, so this 1, 2, and then 3 is the sequence. For this, I probably prefer a hook with the fist. Okay, but remember, false stance. Anytime you're in a false stance, you can kick. Okay, and again, it doesn't matter which hand he comes in with, and eventually you also want to angle. Don't stay in that straight line. So this, you can angle out this way. You can even pull him a bit and then kick. Okay, and this one coming around. Okay, so I always lift this leg as well. That's also a variation as well. Some people will keep their toe down, but if you lift the leg, it's also to protect your leg. So in case he's attacking my leg, right, this I can lift away, okay, and then come back down. Again, these are different options depending on the situation, depending on does he kick, does he not kick, okay, is he angling, should I angle, should I not angle? So these are all things to think about as you approach the applications. Okay, so from here, the next step, we're gonna lock up. This toe, we're gonna actually point up this time. So we're gonna lock the opponent's kick right in this hook right here. We kick, this goes towards the groin. Okay, this is a side cut, so try to contact on this side of your foot. Okay, so it's kind of like a blade going forward. Okay, so you don't need a lot of power for the groin. Okay, so this type of kick is very fast and very practical for this use. So this, you kick up, okay, and you come back down. So this one you can also use to attack as you're coming in. So as he kicks in, this I can block, okay, this I can kick in. As he sees my block coming and he feels exposed, he's gonna pull his leg back. Okay, this I can use to attack down towards his shin or his ankle. Okay, so remember you have this type of attacking as you step down. So after you kick, this you can step down into that to be more aggressive. Okay, be careful if you're training without protection. You don't wanna go straight into someone's shin. Okay, this type of block also works if he kicks on the other leg. Okay, it also works on this side, also works this way. Okay, but again, be aware of his options as he kicks, as you're kicking. Okay, know what's dangerous, know what's not. Okay, if you're blocking inside the leg to inside the leg, also have to watch if you bang shins. That's going to hurt a lot. Part of that's conditioning, part of that's adjusting the angle. So you have a good block and good kick in right away. So now a quick review from beginning to where we are. So this is the opening. Okay, lock shoulder, down, this up to attack, toe kick, and down, block, seal, and up, hook the leg, kick, and step down. Okay, and so this kick should be towards this angle, this corner of the room. Okay, from here, we're gonna lock behind the leg. Okay, this one we're gonna sweep. Okay, pass by this foot. Okay, and then punch straight forward. Okay, you can aim for a face or the throat. Typically a higher punch. On the last one, after I side cut, if I'm stepping in, he may continue going back. Okay, so this I can use to get distance. And remember, crab walk can also lead into a side kick. In this sequence, we don't side kick, but remember that option is there. Okay, so this is chasing inwards. Okay, this sweep you can use to block. So if he's punching in, okay, or even if he's kicking in, you can use this type of sweep to block this hand away, and then this punch comes forward. Okay, so even if it's a kick, so remember we had this block from Ilumaifu in the kicking, so this blocking. So as he comes in with the kick, this blocking, usually you would flip it to be a bit more secure with that. Okay, and again, you can still punch. Okay, but if you have the leg too, it probably makes a lot of sense to just flip him, get him on the ground. If he's on the ground and you're standing, you have more of the advantage. Okay, so again, from here, we step this hooking. Okay, so either a kick or a punch, this hooking, okay, and then this you can punch or you could just take down from here, okay? So after this sweep up, punch, punch with the feet together and bing boo. This, we're gonna step, kick and punch, and this is gonna follow through blocking, okay, sweep down low and attack, okay, usually about groin level. Okay, you can also go a little higher, but for fingers attacks, you should probably go for this cavity, okay, but you can also change it to a fist if you decide to go higher. In the sequence, it should be a bit lower. Okay, so remember, this part after I block here and I punch. Say he blocks this punch. Okay, so right away, this comes together. So it's just a follow-up from the last technique. So you see a lot of these techniques actually link together. So again, think about why the moves were created the way they were, why one move may follow the other, which ones go together nicely, depending on the situation, of course. Okay, and try to explore the options. So again, usually you got to plan for if your opponent blocks an attack. Okay, so if he blocks this first punch, right away I can seal this down. I could pull if I needed to, okay, and this punching forward. Okay, and again, in more of a realistic context, you probably want to angle a bit. Hey, bing boo, again, is something I would use in strategic circumstances depending on your opponent. Okay, so if I get too close on this, it's easy for him to just bump me with his shoulder. Okay, so don't get too close on this. This you can actually get a bit more distance. Okay, and again, it shouldn't matter which hand he blocks with. So from here, he blocks with that hand. This one I can still use to push. Okay, this one I can still use to punch. Okay, so again, see who's leading the motion. Make sure you're causing the action, they're reacting. So you're the offense, they're defense. If you can keep that in your attack, then you always have the advantage. But once they change that around, once you become the follower, that's when you have to be concerned. Okay, so it's very much like a dance sometimes, but you have to know who's leading the dance. Otherwise, you always be at a disadvantage. Okay, so at this part, after a bing boo here, say he blocks this punch again. So if he blocks again, this one, I'm gonna pull right away, kick and punch. Okay, so again, find the distance. You notice I didn't step as far in this. In the sequence, we take a full step forward to kick. Okay, but if I'm here already, I'm close enough, okay, I may just step back, pull, kick and punch in this way instead. Okay, and this is the same type of toe kick we had before, but with the fist instead of pai tui with the palm open. Okay, so if he again backs away from this, okay, he may attack as he's going back. Okay, if not, it doesn't matter, but in this case, you can use this hand to block. Again, for this side, okay, this kicking the leg. Okay, so again, if he steps back out of that, okay, I can use this to hook, this going straight to the groin. Okay, but again, be aware of that side. Okay, so sometimes this, again, you may angle towards this side and maybe just fake with the hand and kick instead. Again, there's options that you can choose from as you explore the techniques. Okay, so this whole line basically is action, reaction, action, reaction. So as they block, there's another counter. As they block, there's another counter, counter, counter. Okay, so there's always one technique flowing after another through this whole sequence, starting from this side cut. As you move towards this corner, this block, this punch. As they block it, you punch again and kick. Okay, you follow that block and you go in for this attack. Okay, and try it out with different hands. So again, for this type of attack, if he comes in with the other hand, say you don't have that lock on the outside of the elbow, okay, but it still works. You can still kick towards the inside of his leg on this one, right? He still doesn't want to get kicked, right? And the legs are longer than the arms, okay? So I wouldn't be this close where I'm close enough for his hand hit me, right? And if anything, I may fake with this hand and kick him here instead. So this lock isn't necessary if it's not needed, okay? So this, maybe I'll just fake with this hand, this kick, okay? And then this, same idea. I can get this side or I can seal this way, and this I can change to a punch, as I was explaining before. Okay, if the groin is not there, it's not there, okay? Don't go like this into someone's ribs. Your fingers are probably not strong enough, I'm guessing, okay? So finger attacks, remember, you typically aim for soft targets, so like the eyes, the throat, okay? Solar plexus sometimes, if you can aim that, okay? And depending on the strength of the person physically, okay? But be smart about your attacks. You don't want to hurt yourself when you attack. Again, we'll do a quick review. That way you could start to get that ingrained in your memory. Okay, so the opening, 1, 2, this lock, crab walk down, okay, this strike, kick down, 1, 2, 3, hook the leg, kick, step down this angle. Okay, the kick is also at this angle, remember. Okay, step behind, block, punch, punch, and you keep chasing, punch and kick. This block, okay, this sweeping down into this strike. Okay, so from here, let me back up a bit so you can see. From here, we want to clear up. Okay, so this we had in Gongli Chen, also Ilu Mai Fu. So this clear up. This one we're going to sting. Okay, typical target will be the throat. Sting towards the throat and you hook down. Okay, this one we're going to turn. Okay, and then cover. So again, same way as Ilu Mai Fu, palm up and you cover, palm down. Okay, and then after you get to this point here, this foot comes forward and this lift up. Okay, so that's the end of part 1. So let's review the applications for that. So the last technique was I was blocking and going towards his groin. Okay, so say he blocks this technique. Okay, so this, I can use this to open up this area. Basically, as I turn my palm, I create an opening up top. Okay, this tends to work better again if you're on the outside of the arm this way. Okay, sometimes you also pull to get a better option. Okay, but it still works just as well on this side. Okay, but again, be aware of the dangers of the legs, of the hands, of the elbows if you get closer, of the knees. Okay, but from here, you probably don't need to get closer than this. Okay, this, you can pull him into your attack. Okay, you pull in this into the throat. Remember, soft target, 4 finger strikes. Okay, then you hook down. Hook symbolizes, can be a grab, okay, essentially tearing the throat downwards. Okay, so it doesn't have to be a perfect hook if you're actually applying the technique. Just whatever this claw type of grab would be to hook this down, okay? So this 1, this 2 to get to this side, okay? And this is changing direction to get to a different opponent on this side, okay? So usually when you change a full 180, it's a different opponent. You can't imagine this opponent's going all the way around you, okay? But this, you get to the end of the room, end of this line, and then you change direction. So if I get to this side now, okay, this type of hand form I could use as a block. In Crane, they also have this type of a minor block coming upwards. So if he's punching in, this I can use upwards. Okay, so again, don't get tied to the idea of these 5 fingers always together if you're actually applying this in sparring. Okay, there are pros and cons to each way. Okay, Crane goes this way, more to open palm. Okay, in this sequence, it goes this way. Okay, but choose what's appropriate if you're sparring. Okay, so if he comes in, this I can use to come up, okay? Mantis also likes to strike with this side. So Mantis, this you can use to clear out of the way. This you can come up towards the throat or the chin. Okay, so this back side you can also use to strike for this type of an attack, okay? Again, be aware of the other hand. So if you're on the outside of the arm, again, it's more advantageous this way. This can even come up towards the armpit, okay? So this you can use to grab if necessary, but you see how this hand you can use to clear. Similar again to Ilu Mai Fu. So you see a lot of moves start to overlap. They're all based on the same concepts and principles. So this move in Ilu Mai Fu can be applied in the same way, except this is an upwards attack this way, okay? But again, it can also work on this hand as well, okay? So this coming up this way, just be aware of that hand. But again, you can also use this to think about maybe arms are faking. Remember, we have this covering into false stance. This leg can signify a kick instead. Hey, but know your distance. Again, if I'm too close, his elbow can come in very fast, either trap my arm or right into my ribs. Okay, so be aware of what's vulnerable. If you can keep him at leg's length, okay, middle range is a very workable range. So try to be in a safe distance. Okay, so as he comes in, okay, so this I can strike up. Okay, this false stance again signifies a kick, possibly just up towards the kneecap or shin. Okay, this coming up I can use to pull. Okay, so this leg coming up, I could just use to kick. Okay, this one I could use to hook and strike. Okay, again, palm is not necessary. You're striking towards the temple, for example. I would go towards maybe a phoenix eye knuckle or this way with your thumb. Okay, so from here, as we come up, this you can pull. These 5 fingers in a sequence signify this pull. Okay, this I can use to kick this way. This I can use to strike. Okay, and the same type of motion, I could also use this leg to hook this way. Okay, so this hooking. Okay, but remember for takedowns, it's a lot harder to hook. If he's got his root, if he's standing straight, right, this is going to be very hard to hook. So there's where that's where this pull comes in. You get his upper body off a bit, okay? This hand has to be ready in case this hand comes around, right? So he can seal this way, okay? Or he can try to seal in this way. So once his body's leaning, then this pull will be a lot easier. So that's this one up this way. So that concludes part 1 for the martial application section.